On his 15th birthday, a young man underwent the traditional job change ceremony. It was a sacred rite meant to bless him on his new journey. He knelt in prayer, awaiting the start of his new life. Sometime later, the young man, Jade, found himself out in the wilderness, chasing down a lowly slime. Panting, he finally cornered the creature. He steeled himself, annoyed that such a weak monster had made him run so much. He lunged forward, furious that it was wasting his time. But to his shock, the slime reacted with surprising speed. It whipped a tendril around his arm. Panic set in as the slime's grip tightened. He struggled, wondering what to do. A memory of his past self surfaced, reminding him to have confidence. He recalled that he was the only one in this world with his unique potential. With newfound resolve, he bit down on the slime's appendage, causing it to release him. Seizing the opportunity, he thrust his dagger forward, declaring the creature his. The slime dissolved. Exhausted but relieved, Jade sat down, having finally killed his first monster. It left behind what he recognized as a mana stone. He noted how light it was and decided to check his status. A status screen appeared, confirming his name, Jade, his job as a novice, and that he had earned 1 skill point. A wave of euphoria washed over him. He was right about this world. He remembered the events of a few hours prior. His father ordered him to get out. His father was furious that he had returned as a novice, calling him an embarrassment. Jade pleaded with him, finding the command too cruel. His father tossed a small pouch at him. Jade caught it in surprise. His father called it a parting gift. With a final, furious declaration, he disowned Jade, banishing him from the house forever. Now exiled, Jade walked away from his home. He reflected on his father's obsession with appearances. He hadn't expected to be disowned, but he understood the money was a final, cold gesture, enough to travel far away and not die on his father's land. Alone and uncertain of his future, he wondered what to do next. Suddenly, a sharp, bursting pain shot through his head. The intense pain overwhelmed him, causing him to collapse. As the headache subsided, scenes from a past life flashed through his mind. At first, he didn't understand, realizing he was looking at his own past. He soon realized he was seeing memories of himself from another time. He remembered living in a different world, in a country called Japan, where he was addicted to a VR game called NSO. His obsession with the game, where he ranked first in events, was now proving to be the key. It turned out to be the key to his survival in this new world. In NSO, a game about becoming the world's strongest, he was the only player to stick with the novice job. While others wondered how a novice could be the strongest, he knew its secret. A novice had unlimited possibilities. It was the primary path to all other jobs. The ability to acquire every skill from any job made the novice the strongest. As the last of the pain faded, Jade realized something crucial. The world he was in now was far too similar to the game NSO. The level of civilization and the appearance of the monsters were the same. The existence of jobs like novice, knights, and magicians also matched the game. Though he found it hard to believe, he couldn't stop himself from testing his theory. His status screen appeared again, confirming his suspicions. He began to laugh. If this truly was the world of NSO, then the novice job he received was far from useless. It meant he could reach the absolute peak of power. Recalling the day's events, he remembered using the money his father gave him to purchase a knife. After a grueling hour-long chase, he finally defeated a slime to acquire a skill point. This summarized the events up to the present day. He resolved to keep hunting to accumulate more skill points and learn new skills to grow stronger. After another 2 hours of fighting slimes, he had successfully gathered 10 mana stones. With enough points, he could finally purchase the search skill. He selected yes on the skill acquisition screen. Suddenly, a voice in his head announced the skill was acquired, startling him with how real it felt. He decided to try it out immediately. He activated the skill, and a map-like interface appeared in his mind. He was thrilled to find it worked, sensing the presence of a slime in a specific direction. With this new ability, hunting would be much easier, and he wouldn't be ambushed by other monsters. With a good number of mana stones collected, Jade returned to town. He found a room at an inn. There he began his next task, crafting a special item. He intended to make a magic tool by carving magic circles onto the mana stones. While magic tool crafters in this world used special ingredients and skills, Jade believed the process could be mimicked physically by a novice. Thanks to his past addiction to NSO, He had memorized every single magic circle from the game. He successfully crafted a tool using a rare magic circle he'd obtained near the end of the game. The process was tiring, especially since it had to be done by hand. Furthermore, this process was not part of any magic tool crafter's skill list. Finally finished, he collapsed into bed, knowing his rate of gathering skill points would now change drastically. The next day dawned. Jade took his new magic tools and journeyed into the forest west of the city, using his search skill to avoid other monsters. He ventured deep into the woods until he found his target. He had located a rush boar, an aggressive monster powerful enough to send even a warrior flying. Jade knew that a normal fight would mean certain death for him, but with his new tool he was confident. While hiding, Jade worries that the rush boar has spotted him. Without hesitation, he activates the magic tool he crafted. Jade smiles, pleased that his plan worked. The charging rush boar suddenly collapses to the ground, its power drained. Jade reflects on the magic tool he created, called Change. It works by exchanging an engraved mana stone with the target monster's own. This allows him to easily obtain a valuable mana stone from a monster he wouldn't normally be able to defeat. He notes that the monster's magic barrier is down. The most important merit of this method is that it casts a ridiculously strong debuff on the monster, leaving it completely vulnerable. Every monster has a unique mana stone that serves as its source of power, such as a slime using a slime mana stone or a rush boar using its own. By exchanging the mana stone for an inferior one, the monster's mana is drastically reduced. This disables its passively maintained magic barrier and renders it immobile, as if anemic. The essence of Change is to drastically weaken the targeted monster. He knows there are limits to this tactic. It won't work on incredibly powerful monsters like dragons. However, it's perfect for taking care of mid-tier monsters, so he continues his search for more. Using his search skill, Jade discovers his next target. It's a nest of giant hornets. He assesses that most of the worker bees are out searching for food, leaving only a few behind. A normal beginner's party would be annihilated by their potent poison. But for Jade, this is a prime opportunity. With 9 charges of his spell left, Jade unleashes Change on all the hornets inside the nest at once. The hornets are instantly debilitated and fall from the sky. Jade feels a little bad about using such a one-sided tactic, but he knows he must do what is necessary to survive in this world. Having accumulated about 500 skill points, Jade decides it's time to acquire a skill suitable for his situation. He spends 100 points to learn Storage. The disembodied voice confirming the purchase still startles him. He quickly learns that Storage is a form of magic. It allows him to store and retrieve items from a distorted space. Delighted, he immediately stores the giant hornet's nest, knowing the ultra-royal jelly inside can be traded for a good price. With the hornets dealt with, he turns his attention back to the rush boar. He wonders why he didn't store it immediately. He then realizes his storage skill has a size limit and can't hold the boar without being upgraded. He calculates that he can upgrade his storage 3 times with his remaining points, which should provide enough capacity. After applying the upgrades, he activates the skill again and is amazed by how huge the storage portal has become. After storing the rush boar and giving thanks for the meal, he prepares to leave. Jade decides it's time to head back to the city and sell his assets. He makes his way to the Adventurers Guild. Seeing a sign directing those with large-scale materials to a specific area, he heads that way. He wonders if it's the right place to trade. He approaches the designated trading area. He calls out to a receptionist and then pulls the massive rush boar from his storage, asking if she would be willing to purchase it. The receptionist is stunned, demanding to know where the boar came from. Jade calmly replies that he got it from his storage. She seems confused, recalling that storage is a unique skill of the novice class. He explains that it's similar to a magic bag, enhanced with dimension expansion. Deciding there's no harm in revealing it, Jade explains that it's storage magic. The receptionist has never heard of such a thing and is clearly suspicious of him. However, she decides to let it go. The receptionist asks to see his adventurer's ID. Jade admits he doesn't have one yet. She is flabbergasted that an unregistered adventurer who just started could possibly defeat a rush boar. Jade explains that he hunted the boar to prepare for the guild's registration exam. The receptionist realizes that anyone capable of defeating a rush boar would pass the exam with ease. Jade knows her reaction is understandable, as she is unaware of his magic tool Change. The receptionist sighs and agrees to buy the boar, though she finds it a shame he isn't registered. Jade considers his knight for offensive and defensive skills. He then has a sudden idea. On second thought, Jade excitedly declares that he would like to take the examination. The flustered receptionist introduces herself as Sylvia. Jade introduces himself in return. She then offers to guide him to the guild hall to prepare the necessary documents. Inside, Sylvia reviews Jade's application and questions his listed job. He confirms without hesitation that he is a novice. Sylvia becomes concerned, explaining that there is no way a novice can clear the examinations. Jade suggests the examination method involving monster subjugation with an examiner. Though Sylvia is clearly skeptical, she concedes that if he truly is the one who defeated the Rush Boar, he has a chance. She rushes off to inform the examiner. A large, imposing man approaches Jade. He asks if he's the one, the novice with a death wish trying to take the adventurer's registration exam. Jade nervously confirms that he is. The examiner introduces himself as Ramon, offering to defeat the monsters in Jade's stead should he get scared. After getting a closer look, Ramon's condescending expression doesn't waver. He directly advises Jade to abandon his dream of becoming an adventurer. Jade, however, confidently declines the offer. Jade confidently declares that he will pass the exam. Ramon seems surprised but tells him he can choose the destination, assuming he'll pick an area with weak monsters. Changing his mind, Jade decides to take Ramon up on his offer to accompany him. The two make their way to the eastern forest for the examination. As they walk deeper into the woods, they proceed with caution. Ramon suddenly calls out to Jade, a look of surprise on his face. Ramon is perplexed by Jade's confident stride, noting it seems like he already knows where the monsters are. He questions if Jade can use tracking magic, a skill not typically associated with his class. He senses a powerful presence nearby. Jade confirms he knows their location and points the way. Suddenly, Ramon's demeanor changes to one of terror, and he urges Jade to turn back immediately. When Jade calmly asks why, Ramon is shocked by his composure. Before them, a colossal ape-like monster is seen feasting, which Jade identifies as an earthquake. The creature is known as an earthquake because every step it takes makes the ground tremble. It has earned the nickname Tank Killer for its ability to effortlessly crush even the most heavily armored adventurers. Despite its fearsome reputation, Jade knows the monster is susceptible to his change ability. He is confident it's no match for him. Ramon, however, panics, believing they are about to be killed. Jade calmly informs him that it's too late to run, as the monster has already sensed their presence. Jade explains that the beast is ignoring them because it knows it can kill them at any time. As Ramon despairs, believing escape is impossible, Jade tries to get his attention. Jade asks for permission to use a special magic tool. In a panic, Ramon tells him to do whatever he wants, resigned to their fate. Jade calmly activates his magic tool, uttering the word change. The earthquake finally turns its attention towards them. The tool in his hand begins to glow, transforming into a new spiky mana stone. The massive earthquake lets out a final roar. It then collapses to the ground, utterly defeated. Ramon is left speechless, staring in disbelief at the fallen monster. He demands to know what just happened. Ramon demands an explanation for what Jade did. Jade calmly explains he used a magic tool called Change to swap the monster's powerful mana stone with one he had engraved. The creature was left with a weak slime's mana stone, rendering it powerless. Ramon can hardly believe such a crazy tool exists. Jade points to the result as undeniable proof. Jade further explains that due to the massive power disparity between the mana stones, the monster will die on its own. If the difference was smaller, the target would only be temporarily incapacitated. He notes that a novice's attack would be useless against its tough hide. Therefore, the only course of action is to simply wait for it to perish. Hearing that the monster is defenseless, Ramon sees it as a perfect chance to attack. He prepares to attack it himself. Jade quickly stops him, frantically reminding him that it's an exam and won't count unless he completes it alone. He urges Ramon to be patient, and the examiner, realizing his mistake, backs down and apologizes. He's relieved that Ramon didn't interfere, which would have cost him the points. Once the monster is dead, Jade receives 400 skill points. After noting the reward seems a bit low, he stands over the fallen beast. He uses 200 points to upgrade his storage skill. He then prepares to collect his prize. Jade activates his storage magic, and the enormous corpse of the earthquake vanishes into a portal. Ramon is once again flabbergasted, asking where the monster went. Jade cheerfully explains that he placed it inside his magic storage. Still trying to process the incredible display of power, Ramon is at a loss for words. Jade tentatively asks if he managed to pass the exam. Ramon enthusiastically confirms that he passed, promising it will be with flying colors. As they return to the guild, Sylvia spots them and waves. She welcomes them back and eagerly asks how the examination went. Ramon bursts in, shouting to Sylvia that Jade is the real deal and deserves a B rank. Sylvia is skeptical, not believing Ramon would make such a joke. Undeterred, Ramon dashes off to fetch the guildmaster himself. Sylvia doubts the guildmaster would come for a simple newbie registration. Ramon quickly returns with the guildmaster, who questions being told to give a novice a B rank. In response, Ramon begins to passionately recount the incredible events of the examination. The guildmaster finds Ramon's story of single-handedly defeating an earthquake difficult to believe without evidence. Jade offers to provide the evidence. Sylvia chimes in, confirming that she has witnessed Jade use his storage magic before. Intrigued, the guildmaster agrees to see the proof for himself. The group heads to the guild's dismantling facility, where Jade prepares to use his storage. He warns the others to stand back for safety. He then raises his hands, activating the portal to his dimensional storage. With a tremendous crash, the massive corpse of the earthquake appears from the portal. The sight shocks everyone present. The guildmaster stares in utter disbelief, exclaiming that it truly is an earthquake. Jade also presents the earthquake's mana stone that he acquired through his change ability. Seeing the proof, Sylvia has a realization. She remembers the rush boar Jade brought in earlier. That boar was missing its mana stone, which had been replaced by a shattered one, a fact that had intrigued her. With all the evidence presented, the guildmaster understands that this unique strategy is Jade's way of fighting. He declares that he no longer has any doubts. He announces that Jade will not only pass the exam, but will also be granted the maximum incentives for his incredible feat. At the guild, a receptionist presents Jade with his new adventurer card, confirming his official status. She explains that while they had planned to grant him a B rank due to Ramon's plea, the guild system, which also considers contributions, limited his starting rank to E. However, as a special consideration, they have also designated him as a 3-star hunter. The receptionist enthusiastically details their unique system for elimination requests, which allows Jade to accept commissions up to 3 ranks above his own. Jade understands this means he's being treated as a B-rank adventurer and thanks her for looking out for him. Next, the receptionist presents Jade with the payment for the materials he submitted, a total of 410,000 pars. Jade is stunned by the amount, as she explains the breakdown of the payment. Relieved, Jade uses his storage magic to tuck away the large sum of money, feeling he can finally take a breather. He thanks the receptionist for her help as he leaves the guild. Upon leaving, he realizes it's almost nighttime. He recalls spending the previous evening diligently preparing his magic tools. The next day, Jade puts his new strategy for grinding SB into action. Having crafted 20 change mana stones the night before and upgraded his search skill, he prepares to find monsters. He casts his enhanced search spell. He quickly locates his targets. His search reveals a multitude of monsters nearby, including rush boars, giant hornets, and brutal moles. He takes out one of his specially crafted mana stones and activates his change ability. The faulty mana stone glows. Its energy begins to affect all the monsters in the vicinity. A powerful force erupts from Jade's position, pulling in the creatures. A massive vortex of dark energy swirls into existence, drawing the surrounding monsters into its powerful pull. As the vortex of chaotic energy coalesces, Jade stands calmly at its center. He remains unaffected by the maelstrom he has created. From the dissipating energy, a pack of ghostly wolves materializes and surrounds him. Jade identifies them as phantoms, wolf monsters without physical bodies. They are dangerous creatures, immune to physical attacks and able to absorb most magic. Jade knows that because the phantoms lack a physical body, his change ability will be instantly fatal. Feeling slightly guilty, he activates the skill and the phantoms are immediately destroyed. They leave behind small, glowing cores. He examines one of the drops, a phantom core, which is a high-quality item used to replenish mana. Realizing their value, he stores them away. He reflects on his successful strategy of intentionally creating a magic calamity to summon these monsters. Normally, a magic tool with a flawed magic circle won't activate. However, a minuscule error allows it to function, albeit unpredictably. This creates a magic calamity. The faulty change spell absorbs nearby monsters and creates a completely different one, the Phantoms. Jade is pleased with his efficient method of farming, which yields high SP and rare items. With his new total of 2550 skill points, he decides to invest in his foundational abilities. He acquires and upgrades both physical enhancement and martial arts. After more grinding, Jade has significantly upgraded his physical enhancement and martial arts skills. Curious about his newfound strength, he decides to test it. He gives a large rock a light kick, which surprisingly causes him a bit of pain. The rock shatters from the impact, and a massive piece is sent flying high into the air. Jade stares in disbelief, realizing that this level of power is far beyond that of a normal human. Feeling confident, Jade decides to find a strong opponent to fight on his way home. His search ability quickly pinpoints a shadow wrestler, exactly the kind of challenge he was looking for. He identifies the shadow wrestler as a weaker relative of the earthquake. It possesses high attack power but also has a significant weakness. Deciding to test his new skills, Jade resolves to defeat it without using his change ability. He prepares for battle. The shadow wrestler charges forward. It lets out a deafening roar. It swings a powerful palm strike at Jade, who calmly stands his ground. Jade acknowledges the monster's high damage output. However, he swiftly dodges its attack with newfound speed. He retaliates with a powerful kick. The kick sends the monster stumbling backward. The shadow wrestler growls, enraged by the unexpected counterattack. As the enraged monster charges again, Jade calmly analyzes its movements. He knows its weakness lies in its predictable attack patterns, including a half-second preparation before its palm strike. Using his game knowledge, Jade identifies the monster's preparation time as an animation lock. This brief, predictable window allows him to effortlessly sidestep the telegraphed attack. Frustrated, the injured monster finally changes its strategy. It unleashes its signature skill, a high-speed headbutt charging directly at Jade. Jade had been waiting for this exact move. As the shadow wrestler hurtles past, he leaps onto its back, taking control of its momentum. He reveals the monster's second weakness, the motion needed to cancel its flying animation. To stop its charge, it must lift its head. By holding its head down, Jade prevents it from stopping, sending it careening uncontrollably towards a massive cliff face. The shadow wrestler crashes headfirst into the cliff, the impact causing a massive explosion of rock and dust. Jade lands safely. He looks on as the defeated monster lies motionless in the rubble. After the battle, he sees he has gained more skill points. After storing the defeated monster's body, he is thrilled, celebrating his victory without relying on his change ability. This is a clear sign that he is consistently growing stronger. As Jade happily walks along a path, he comes across a group of menacing-looking men. His good mood vanishes when he sees that one of them is carrying a bound and unconscious girl over his shoulder. Hiding behind a tree, Jade realizes he has stumbled upon a kidnapping. He overhears the men discussing their captive, calling her a real gem that will sell for a high price. Jade watches them with a determined look. Jade knows he can't just let them go, but he's hesitant due to his lack of experience in fighting other people. Deciding he would need such skills eventually, he makes a choice. He acquires the assassination art skill. Ahead, the group of 3 men continues on their path, unaware they are being followed. Racing through the woods, Jade finally catches up to the kidnappers he's been tracking. Hiding behind a tree, he observes the 3 men walking with their unconscious captive. A thrown rock whizzes past one of the men, startling him. Before he can react, Jade uses the Shukuchi skill to close the distance in an instant, appearing right before his target. Jade strikes with a circular blade, but the hooded man manages to block the powerful blow with his arm. The force of the impact sends the man flying, and Jade follows up with a swift kick, knocking him to the ground. The other 2 bandits turn in shock. From a safe distance, Jade checks his status and sees he's gained 90 skill points, which confirms his suspicions. The remaining bandits are on alert, wondering what is happening. The eye-patch-wearing man notes that there are other ways to gather SP besides hunting monsters, such as defeating bandits through special, non-lethal methods. He warns his partner that if their target dies, they won't receive any SP and urges him to stay on guard. Jade reflects that while he was fairly certain they were bandits, he wanted definitive proof before acting rashly. Now certain of his enemy's nature, he decides there is no longer a need to hold back. The eye-patch bandit spots Jade and dismisses him as just a kid. Jade overhears this, feeling slightly disheartened despite being an adult. The larger bandit calls it a bluff, telling his partner to stop panicking. His partner considers that if Jade truly is a novice adult, he might be valuable. Believing he could sell Jade for a high price, the bandit lunges forward with his sword. Jade parries the blow with his dagger. His opponent mocks his naivety and knocks the dagger from his hand, leaving him unarmed. Though disarmed, Jade reveals a card and a mana stone. He unleashes a sudden blast of energy from his palm. The attack catches the bandit completely by surprise. The energy blast hits the eye-patch bandit squarely in the head, sending him flying. Enraged, his larger companion yells out. Jade immediately charges toward him. The massive bandit swings his weapon down with a furious roar, intent on killing Jade. However, Jade uses Shukuchi to instantly dodge the attack, which pulverizes the ground where he just stood. With incredible speed, Jade lands a devastating punch to the bandit's face. The blow sends him crashing into a nearby tree. After defeating the bandits, Jade reflects on the frightening power of his shadow wrestler skill. He approaches the captive girl and finds her still unconscious. He unties her. He wants to heal her but lacks the SP, leaving him to wonder what his next move should be. Just then, a pair of power eagles appear in the sky. He sees them flying straight towards him. Seizing the opportunity, Jade quickly prepares his change ability to deal with the approaching monsters. The defeated power eagles fall from the sky. Thankful for the opportune encounter, he collects the dropped items. He acquires the heal skill. He immediately casts it on the unconscious girl. The girl groans as she slowly wakes up. Confused, she asks where she is, and Jade expresses his relief that she's awake. Upon seeing one of her defeated captors nearby, she screams and grabs onto Jade in terror. Realizing what she's doing, the girl lets go, flustered. She apologizes for her messy appearance, but Jade calmly reassures her that the man is only unconscious. She then timidly asks if he was the one who saved her. Jade confirms that he helped and asks if she remembers being abducted. The girl looks down, embarrassed, and clarifies that rather than being abducted, she was actually scammed. She explains that she's an artist living in poverty. One of the men approached her with a supposedly profitable gig. She admits that in hindsight it was suspicious, but she followed him. He then suddenly declared he was going to sell her, and she lost consciousness shortly after. After hearing her story, Jade expresses his amazement that she's an artist. He asks about her specialty. She proudly reveals that she's a sculptor, confident in her skills. This gives Jade an idea, and although he acknowledges it might sound suspicious, he asks if she would be willing to work for him. The girl asks Jade to be more specific about his job offer. He apologizes for his excitement and for skipping the explanations. He explains that as a new adventurer, he needs a lot of magic tools for his travels. She is amazed, not knowing it was possible to create magical tools by physically carving them without being a crafter. Jade reassures her that he can provide samples for all the magic circles she'll need to redraw, which impresses her. Although she sees it as a great opportunity, Gina is hesitant. She suggests it might be better to hire a specialist. Jade explains that while most people would think so, he specifically needs her. The magic tools he requires can only be mass-produced if they are carved by hand. He elaborates that a skilled crafter would need rare materials and a lot of mana, whereas hand-carved tools have a much higher production rate. Understanding the situation, Gina believes she might be of help. Jade enthusiastically asks if she'd like to try. Feeling indebted to him for saving her life, she considers the offer. Gina firmly accepts the offer, declaring that she will do it. Jade is overjoyed by her acceptance. He extends his hand and introduces himself as Jade. The girl happily accepts his handshake, introducing herself as Gina. They formally agree to work together. Jade suddenly remembers a crucial detail he forgot, her salary. Gina suggests they decide after he trades in the goods he's earned today. Jade then shows her the magic storage he mentioned, which amazes her. He reveals the unconscious bandit inside, noting that this is the only one left. Jade gives Gina her first request to carve a magic circle onto a mana stone, which will help him find the other bandits. He provides a sample for her to reference, explaining that while the size and position don't matter, the carving needs to be accurate. Gina understands and eagerly prepares to start, revealing her impressive set of carving tools. Gina asks for a table and a bench vise. She begins carving with focus and precision. She proudly announces that she's finished. Jade is stunned by her speed, exclaiming that it hasn't even been 3 minutes. He inspects the finished mana stone and is amazed by the perfect craftsmanship. Jade thanks Gina and warns her to keep her distance, as a failed activation could be dangerous. He explains that he didn't want her to watch the process, as even he doesn't have complete resistance to it. He prepares to place the mana stone right above the bandit's heart. Gritting his teeth through the process, he plunges the stone into the bandit's body. He successfully seals the wound and completes the procedure. Jade explains that the magic tool Gina created bestows the curse of anti-guilty, which prevents a person from committing evil deeds. He reveals his suspicion that the bandits may be involved with a larger human trafficking organization. To investigate this, he needed to leave one of them alive as bait. The tool was made in an instant thanks to Gina's skill. Jade praises her for her hard work on her very first request, and she is glad it went well. He suggests they head back to the guild. But first he asks if she would help him hunt some slimes, to which she happily agrees. Back at the guild, Jade reports at the reception table. He is greeted by a large adventurer named Ramon-san. Ramon asks how much money Jade made from his transaction, and Jade replies it was about 4 million pars. The staggering amount causes Ramon to drop his barrel in utter disbelief, demanding to know what Jade brought in. Jade lists off a few items before mentioning that he sold 15 phantom cores, which alone earned him 3 million. Ramon shouts in shock at the mention of a phantom core. He questions how Jade managed to defeat phantoms. Jade sheepishly claims it was by chance, but Ramon is still reeling, having heard that phantoms are harder to come by than dragons. Deciding he can't handle any more of Jade's surprising stories, Ramon takes his leave. He walks away, still muttering about the 4 million pars. Gina quietly asks Jade how many months it took him to gather all the goods he sold. When he replies that it was all from a single day's work, she is completely stunned. She laments that she would be thrilled to make even 10% of that in a whole month. Just then, a guild staff member approaches, announcing she has kept them waiting. The staff member introduces herself as Maker and explains that she has finished investigating the bandits' equipment. She informs them that while they found no stolen goods, they are free to retrieve anything that might belong to them. Gina spots her hat among the items on the table. She joyfully reclaims it, exclaiming that it's her favorite. Maker confirms that they encountered the bandits in this area, and Jade explains that he left one unconscious after cursing him. Using a search ability on a large map, Maker confirms the bandit hasn't moved and is likely still unconscious. She is impressed by Jade's abilities, prompting him to wonder if he had already told her his name. Maker excitedly recounts what she heard from Ramon about Jade's impressive feats. Getting back to business, she announces that the guild will request an adventurer who excels at tracking to deal with the remaining bandit. She explains that the reward will change depending on the bandits' identities, and they will be informed once confirmation is received. At the inn, Jade informs Gina that he has rented 2 additional rooms for her, a personal room and a workshop. He asks if she's sure she wants to start working today. Eager to test her skills, Gina confirms, estimating that the task will only take her 3 hours. Jade gives her 2 reference images for carving slime and power eagle mana stones. She studies the designs, ready to begin. As Jade is leaving the workshop, Gina calls out to him. She turns and sincerely thanks him for saving her life. Jade tells her not to worry about it. He reflects on how his first day as an adventurer turned out to be an unexpectedly long one. From her window, a cheerful Gina waves goodbye. Later, Jade knocks on the workshop door. Before letting himself in, inside he finds Gina fast asleep in her bed. Jade smiles, realizing she must have fallen asleep in the workshop from exhaustion. On the table, he finds a large batch of completed magic tools. He inspects one and is amazed to find they are all of the same high quality. He gratefully decides to use them. Out in the wilderness, Jade prepares to use the change tools to earn more SP. He takes stock of his inventory, noting he has a total of 69 change tools, including the 66 Gina just crafted, along with a rare AoE taunt magic tool called Area Menace. Jade recalls that Area Menace is a rare item because it can cause pseudo-stampedes, but he plans to use it to efficiently summon phantoms and gather SP. Suddenly, he realizes with horror that he forgot to prepare the most important faulty change tool. Dejected, he knows he'll have to start by preparing the necessary mana stones himself. While searching for monsters, Jade walks through a forest. He's surprised to find a lake, as he had sensed a magic reaction similar to that of rush boars in the area. Suddenly, the water erupts. A fish-like creature shoots out of the lake at incredible speed. Impaling a bird flying overhead, Jade recognizes it as a divine arrow. As the divine arrow splashes back into the lake, Jade marvels at his luck in finding such a rare creature. He immediately uses change to extract its mana stone, which transforms into the creature's corpse. With the rare materials from the divine arrow, Jade prepares to process the corpse. He decides to start with Ikejam, before figuring out how to best utilize the rest of it. After processing the divine arrow, Jade senses a monster nearby. He opens his status and acquires the Crescent Blade skill. Eager to test it out, he heads towards the creature. He spots the monster, a shadow wrestler which has not noticed him yet. With determination, Jade readies the divine arrow corpse as a weapon. Preparing to strike, he unleashes his new skill, Crescent Blade, sending a massive slashing shockwave towards the monster. The attack hits the shadow wrestler before it can react, slicing it cleanly in half. Looking at the devastation, which includes a swath of felled trees behind where the monster stood, Jade is stunned. He knew it would be powerful, but the incredible sharpness of the attack is beyond his expectations. Jade realizes the Crescent Blade skill, a slashing shockwave, would not have been so powerful on its own. The item that boosted its power was the jaw of the divine arrow, which strengthens sharpness and shockwaves. Realizing he cannot just use the corpse forever, he gets the idea to process the material into a real sword. He plans to ask Silver to introduce him to a good blacksmith later. But first, he needs to create a faulty version of change on the divine arrow's mana stone. He decides it would be faster to just carve it himself right there. After finishing his preparations, Jade admits his carving looks bad compared to Gina's, but as long as it activates, it will be fine. He places the Area Menace tool on the ground, activates it, and quickly runs to hide. 10 minutes later, from his hiding spot in a tree, Jade watches as a massive horde of various monsters gathers around the magic tool. He now understands why its circulation is banned. A swarm of giant hornets are drawn to the Area Menace tool, completely obscuring it. Boars and wolves are also among the creatures drawn to the tool. Counting over 100 creatures in total, Jade decides it is time for the next step, and prepares to use change. He throws the faulty change tool into the center of the horde. It activates, releasing a powerful wave of energy that engulfs all the monsters. The faulty tool's magic spreads, converting the monster's mana into numerous phantom cores. As the light fades, Jade uses his search ability and is amazed to find 61 phantom cores. He collapses to his knees, relieved that his plan was a success. As phantoms begin to emerge from the cores, Jade quickly activates his storage magic, collecting all of the phantom cores before the creatures can fully materialize. With the area cleared and the phantom cores safely stored away, Jade smiles, content with his successful hunt. After his successful phantom hunt, Jade reviews his status. He is pleased to see he's gained 18,300 skill points from the 61 phantoms, which has increased both his physical enhancement and martial arts skills to +17. He then uses his storage magic to safely put away the phantom cores. Eager to test his newly enhanced physical abilities, Jade crouches down. He then launches himself forward with incredible speed. The sheer force of his movement creates a powerful shockwave, carving a destructive path through the forest. Realizing his newfound power is enough to defeat rush boars without magic tools, Jade feels confident. With his martial arts already enhanced, he decides to acquire a new skill. A notification confirms he has acquired Eye of X. The skill provides complete insight into a target, revealing muscle movements and pressure points to predict their actions. He notes it's an essential skill to acquire with high-level martial arts, as it can link with his search ability for better accuracy. Deciding to test it before heading back, he activates his search ability. His search quickly locates a target, a rush boar. The beast charges towards him. Jade activates his new skill, Eye of X. His eye processes information about the rush boar, including movement predictions. He just has to follow the information provided. Seeing that it will shift its weight to its right foot in half a second, Jade dodges to the left. His perfectly timed dodge causes the charging boar to lose its balance, creating an opening. Jade immediately identifies a weak point on the creature's exposed leg. Seizing the opportunity, Jade lands a powerful kick on the boar's leg. The kick to the calf successfully immobilizes the beast for a moment, allowing Jade to leap into the air for another attack. With the boar stunned, Jade spots a critical weak point on its head. He unleashes his crescent blade skill with a swift chop of his hand. The attack is devastatingly effective, slicing cleanly through the boar's neck and decapitating it instantly. Having confirmed the efficiency of his new and strengthened skills, Jade feels satisfied. He then remembers to collect the mana stone from the boar. He invests his remaining skill points into upgrading his search ability. With his tasks complete, he heads towards town. Jade brings the defeated rush boar to Silver, who is astounded by the clean kill, noting the head was severed perfectly. Jade explains he has a skill for seeing weak points. Silver finds his answer typically vague and crazy. She then asks if he brought any phantom cores, but he deflects the question. Jade dismisses bringing phantom cores as just a lucky day. Silver recalls the cataclysmic reaction from the last time he brought them. Instead, he reveals what he did find today. Silver is stunned into silence, recognizing the incredibly rare divine arrow. Jade explains that the legendary fish is still a lucky find, and he wants it processed into a weapon. He asks Silver if she knows a good blacksmith. She tells him there's only one in the area. Silver leads Jade to a building identified as Verg's workshop. As they approach, she warns him that while Verg is a truly skilled blacksmith, there is one issue with him. The issue, Silver explained, is Verg's personality. Jade enters the workshop. He approaches the stern-looking blacksmith. He presents the divine arrow and requests that an order-made sword be crafted from it. Verg recognizes the divine arrow, commenting that it's an excellent material for a kid to have found. Encouraged, Jade asks if he can make the request. Verg agrees, stating that he is the only person who can process such a material anyway. Jade is delighted and thanks the blacksmith, but Verg tells him to hold on. Jade thinks that Verg is surprisingly easy to talk to, likely due to the quality of the material. When he asks when he should retrieve the weapon, Verg gives a shocking reply, now for twice the market price. Jade is utterly confused by the blacksmith's offer to buy the material from him. He points out that he was the one who provided the divine arrow for a commission, not to sell it. Verg pauses, seemingly considering this before an idea strikes him. Verg clarifies that Jade seems to have misunderstood. He refuses to sell a sword he has crafted to a mere child. His offer was to buy the material from Jade and then sell the finished sword to someone with the skill to wield it properly. Jade is furious at the insult. Verg continues, claiming the sword would cry if a weak boy like Jade used it. He tells Jade he should be satisfied with getting twice the market price for such top-quality material. Jade clenches his fist in frustration. Money is not the issue, as a divine arrow is far rarer than the phantom cores he could sell. He cuts to the chase, proposing that if he can prove he is not a weak boy, Verg must sell him the sword. He asks for a chance to prove himself. Verg is surprised by the boy's seriousness, but sees room for negotiation. He agrees to the challenge. Jade must face an opponent of Verg's choosing in a mock battle, with the risk of severe injury. Jade accepts without hesitation, and an agreement is made. Verg tells Jade to return in 7 days. As he leaves, Jade vows to show the blacksmith just how fast a novice who uses change can grow in only 7 days.